Currently, the Ukrainian Armed Forces control 1,294 square kilometers of Russian territory and 100 settlements. This was stated by the Commander-in-Chief of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, Oleksandr Syrsky. According to him, in order to deter the onslaught of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, Russia is forced to transfer troops from other directions to its borders. This was one of the main goals of the Kursk operation, the Commander-in-Chief stated.
Of course, the Kursk operation diverted a significant number of enemy forces. Now we can say that about 30,000 Russian soldiers have already been transferred to the Kursk direction, and this figure is growing. At the same time, the enemy is trying not to withdraw units from other directions, and in Pokrovsk, on the contrary, it is increasing its presence.
The actions of the Ukrainian army in the Kursk region allowed Ukraine to complete a number of tasks, including getting ahead of the enemy and preventing the occupation of the northern border territories of Ukraine. This was stated by President Volodymyr Zelensky at the Forum Ukraine 24 Independence. And in general, the operation is part of Ukraine's victory plan, which Kyiv will familiarize the United States with in September.
One of the areas, part of which has already been done, is the operation in the Kursk region. The second area is Ukraine's strategic place in the world's security infrastructure. The third is a powerful package of coercion for Russia to end the war through diplomatic means. And the fourth area is economic. Our victory plan has been prepared. I'm going to present it to the US President at a meeting in September.
According to President Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian Defense Forces have taken control of 2 more settlements in the Kursk region. Active operations are continuing in 1 more settlement. Thus, now the Kursk region is a buffer zone that protects the Sumy region bordering Russia from shelling.
The enemy concentrated a significant number of its troops in this direction and planned to launch an offensive on the Sumy region in order to form a security zone to stop shelling from the territory of the Kursk region. In the Sumy region, on August 6, the armed forces of Ukraine began to carry out this offensive operation.
Despite the fact that Ukraine does not disclose all the details of the Kursk operation, the United States may review the content of military aid for Ukraine in order to support the offensive of the armed forces in the Kursk region. The Washington Post reports, relying on the words of high-ranking American officials.
Internal administration discussions have focused on whether to adjust the contents of weapons packages that are now being dispatched every 2 weeks, to include more armored vehicles or to speed up delivery of certain munitions and other equipment that could help the Ukrainians dig in and defend themselves. In the nearly 500 square miles of Russian territory Kyiv now says it holds, a US official said. From an article by the Washington Post.
Meanwhile, Russian officials continue to create a propaganda picture of the so-called special military operation. Former commander of the U.S. Army Europe, Dan Hodges, issued that Putin is not being informed properly on the real situation at the Russian-Ukrainian border. The fact that the dictator of Russia is confused is indicated by his slow reaction to what is happening. According to Hodges, Putin's behavior reflects the fact that the command and control structure in Russia is poorly established, and internal structures are likely in conflict with each other. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Victoria Smirnova, UATV News.